Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Welcome to our mystery stamping. Hope everyone is having a fabulous day. We'll just wait a minute for a couple of people to come on. So today's our mystery stamping craft along. Oh, let me fix that. Hoping that's a bit better. There we go. So, yeah, hope everyone's having a great day and that you are all ready to stamp with me. I'll just share this. So if you're watching and you want to share this with your friends, just even if they're not stamping along, that'd be great. All right, I know we've got a couple of people joining us today, so hopefully they will come on as well. So let's talk about what is mystery stamping. Mystery stamping is where you use your stash and follow along with the clues to make a card at home. So I'm starting right on time today, so people might think that, oh, that's unusual. And they might be running late or something like that. So let's just see who we've got joining us today. Okay. No one's joining us yet. But that's okay, we'll press on. So, I've had the first clue on our event in Facebook. Now, who's watching? If you're watching, make sure you say hello. And and tell me if you're stamping along, so I know how to pace our morning. Oh, excuse me. Okay, we'll go through the first clue while we're waiting for people, and that is your supplies that you're going to need. So you're going to need a stamp set. Hi Lynn, and thanks for watching. You're going to need a stamp set. This is the one I'm using today. That's the very first thing you're going to need. If you are using dies or punches, or if you choose to use dies or punches, you're going to need those. A punch that I'll be using today is this, it's a trio tag punch by Stampin' Up. So that will be one of the punches I'll be using. You'll need some ink pads and colours of your choice that coordinate with your cardstock and your pattern paper. I'm using Polished Pink and Parakeet Party, and I was going to use Memento Black, but it seems to have disappeared, so I'm going with some basic grey instead. I don't know if you saw that. Okay, so hope everyone is having a great morning. It's a bit cloudy and overcast here in Brisbane and really, really hot. I'm sitting here, I'm still in my pajamas, but I am sweating like you would not believe. Okay, so let's keep going with our list of supplies. You'll need a card base. Now, if you're in Australia, or anywhere that uses a C6 size standard envelope, your card base will measure approximately half an A4 size, so it'll be 8 inches by 5 3/4 inches by 8 inches. If you're in the US, just use half of a letter sheet. I think that's the measurement that they use. You'll also need a strip of white, or you could use vanilla if you're using vanilla. Who else have we got watching? I can't see any names. Hi Lynn, thanks for joining me. Can't see who else is watching. I know someone else is there. You also need a little strip, and this is 2.5 inches by 3/4 inch. So you can use basic white, very vanilla, or if you've got a really pale light colour that goes with your paper, you could use that as well. Right, the next thing that you're going to need is a piece of cardstock. Now this is 1/8 of an inch smaller than 1/4 of a sheet, A4 sheet. Okay. Oh, I did forget. You're going to need some white or vanilla for your scraps for your stamping if you're choosing to die cut or fussy cut or whatever. All right, back to this piece. So this is 1/8 of an inch smaller than a folded card. So it is, in Australian measurements, it's 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. If you're in the US, just use a piece that is 1/4 inch smaller than your standard card front. Then you need a piece of pattern paper. So this will be just a little bit smaller than your patterned, your coloured piece. Okay. So my piece of paper is from the Perfectly Penciled stamp set, DSP set. And so that's really fabulous. Hi, Kim. Then next up, we have got another cardstock in another colour. This is Parakeet Party. And you'll need 3 of these, and these are 2.5 inches by 1 5/8 inch. Now these could be rectangles like this, they could be tags, so it's only an approximate size. You can adjust that size depending on what you have in your stash. I wouldn't make them too much wider than this, but certainly you can make them longer or shorter, whatever you feel like. So this is a good way, this card's good for using up some of those cardstocks scraps. You'll also need your adhesive, your bone folder, a block, or if you're using a stamparatus, use the stamparatus, your paper snips or scissors. If you choose to, you can have your paper trimmer with your scoring blade. Oh, mine's still got paper in it. Okay. And if you've got to take your pick tool, you might need that as well. I've got mine here. I'll get out my Wink of Stella as well, which is optional. Some people like to use a ruler for this project. It's not necessary, but if you are very particular about where you like things placed, so this is going to take my pick tool. If you're using a die cutting machine, you'll need that too, and you'll need some Optional is some twine or a wink of Stella and some embellishments. Okay, you definitely will need dimensionals for this project. All right, so if you are stamping along with me today, come on, make sure, it keeps freezing on you. I don't know why that is. We've got really good Wi-Fi today, Kim. It might be your Wi-Fi. If you're stamping along at home and you've got all your supplies together, just in the comments below, type that the clue number and that you're done. Okay, so for this one, it might be 1 and done that you type in the comments, and that just tells me when we're ready to move on to the next comment, next clue. Okay, so if you're ready to move on to the next clue, Lynn, you just type 1 and done, which you've already done. Oh, that's good. All right, so this is a quick card, or can be a quick card. You're ready as well, Kim? Great. Okay, so let's get on to clue number 2. So you two basically have your own little private class today. How good is that? So clue number 2 is to score your card base on at the halfway mark on the long edge and fold in half to create your base card. I'm not showing you, remember with mystery stamping, I don't show you step by step. Okay. Hi Denise, lovely to see you. Hope you're doing well. Okay, and then we're going to go on to the next one. When you've done that, just type 2 and done. So I know that you're ready to go on to the next step. Okay, and if you don't have a bone folder and you've got acrylic nails, they work really well to burnish that edge. Okay, just a tip. But your nail technician will get really angry with you. All right, so let's say 2 and done. Kim, are you done? Question number 2, clue number 2 as well. And we're gonna go on to clue number 3. Kim, I'm gonna assume you're done with that. Okay, so don't forget. So then the next clue, I wonder if I should zoom it in a little bit more. Let's see if we can do that. Can we zoom it in a little bit more so you can see the words a bit better? I'll move that over. Make it a little bit easier to read. Zoom it in a bit more. That's better. You can, whoops, it would be better if I had the clues in the right place. That's a bit better. Oh, I might have zoomed in a little much. Yeah, for some reason I can't film horizontally at the moment with Facebook. Oh, I have to zoom it out a fraction. All right, so clue number 3. You're going to attach your large coloured cardstock to the front of the card base. Now you can attach this however you like. You could use dimensionals, you could use glue dots, you could use glue, tear and tape, whatever you like. Okay. And I'm making mine off screen as we go, so I get a bit of an idea of timing as well. Now this potentially can be a really quick card, or if you have lots of stamping later on, it can take a really long time. So when you've done clue number 3, just type 3 and done. Now the tip with this one, it does say to make sure your borders are pretty much equal all the way around your card. Okay, so Lynn done, Kim, are you done? Okay, I'm done. All right, so when you're done, type 2 and done. So I know when to move on to the next clue. Oh, 3 done. All right. So I'm going to assume that the next that everybody's done with sticking their large piece of cardstock to the front of the card, because it only takes a couple of seconds. Hello, Glenda. Oh, lovely to see you. You're on your way to Shani's for lunch. Oh, I'm envious. She's such a good cook. Oh, lovely. All right, I'm glad you're watching later. We've got Lynn watching, and we're from South Australia, and we've got Kim watching from Queensland as well. All right, clue number 4. We're going to stick our pattern paper. Now, one of the things that the tips I'll give you is when you're using pattern paper, it's sometimes easiest to use glue to adhere it to your project, because that gives you a little bit of wriggle room and it won't tear if you have to move, it. So once you've adhered or fixed your pattern paper to the front of your folded card base, and I'm being very, very vague with my clues today because I want you to really make this your own. Okay, because you've got things in your stash and that you need to use up, and you need to be able to just have a little think about how you're going to use those things. So when you've done clue number 4, type 4 and done. Yes, you've done that one too, Kim. Ah, fabulous. Oh, Lynn's done. I'm done. All right. Let's move on to the next step. Now this is a step that takes a little bit of time. This is your time for stamping. So you can stamp what I call maybe salt and pepper images, which are small images, or you might stamp foliage, or so you need to stamp on your little I guess you could call them tag pieces, rectangles that you... Now if you're using a clear photo polymer stamp like I will be, you'll need some sort of foam mat underneath them. I'm just using my deluxe mat from my Stamparatus, and I'll be stamping off camera. Hi Jan, lovely to see you. We're doing our mystery stamping this morning. It's not very good boat weather today, Jan. It's just terrible boat weather. Overcast and cloudy, bit of rain. So now that's a bit of a conundrum. I just opened my stamp set and look, there are no stamps in there. So while you're doing this step, I'm going to go and grab my stamps because I wash them in soapy water, so they're on the kitchen bench. So you do your stamping. So on your 3 coloured cards, colour 2, so cardstock pieces, stamp an image on each tag. You might use the same colour ink as your cardstock or a slightly darker shade. You might want to use any colour you like. And if optional, if you're using rectangles, you trim off the top and right corners with the scissors so they look like a tag, or you might use this tag punch. Okay, I'll just grab those stamps. Okay, how's everybody going with their stamping? I hope they're doing okay. No boating today. What's on the agenda today? Jan, anything fun? I hope there's something good on the agenda. Now the optionals with this step, you might want to stamp this image inside your card. Now remember, if you make a mistake, you can always turn it over to the magical other side and stamp. Oh, you're working on your Christmas quilt. That's going to be magnificent when that's finished, Jan. It's beautiful so far. I just need to learn how to sew in more than a straight line, and then I might be able to do something a bit spectacular like that. Now, as I said, I'm doing mine off the screen, the same as everybody else's. And remember, it's mystery stamping, so you're not going to know what it looks like until we finish. Jan, are you stamping along? Do I need to catch you up with where we're up to? Okay, so when you've finished stamping your tags and you're ready to go to the next step, make sure you type in the comments 5 and done, because otherwise I won't know when to move on. believe that I left my two-tone flora stamps downstairs. Now this was a stamp set that we used for our retreat, and I received lots of lovely photographs of things, extra things people have made, and lots of ideas from that retreat. So it's nice to see that people are thinking about what they got with our retreat. Okay. No, you're not doing it now, you'll do it later? Oh, that's all right. You can if you'd like, Lynn. You can colour the images on the tags. That's completely up to you. It's your project. I just did plain stamping, but you, or if you want to, you can colour them later. That's up to you. You can make it as difficult or as easy as you like. There's no right or wrong with mystery stamping, remember? It's whatever you choose to do on the day. Kim, how are you going with your stamping? Are you nearly done your 3 tags? So I used a leaf image on mine, so I didn't have to, so I used this image on mine, so I didn't have to colour them in. Okay. I'm really looking forward to our Easter class next Saturday. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're using the Easter Bunny stamp set, and I just got to cut up all the class kits on Tuesday, and then we'll be all done. It's weird. Sometimes when you're using these punches, they don't turn out the way that you think that they might. So we up to, okay, Kim's done number 5. Lynn, have you finished your number 5? Alright. We've spent a bit of time on that. We might need to move on a little bit, because you can always come back and colour later if you need to. Okay. Alright. We might do the next step, Lynn, and you can come back and colour. Hi, Rhoda. Happy Saturday to you. Hope you're having a good day. How could it not be a good day for you? Okay. Let's go on to clue number 6. So this is a simple clue as well. This is probably the one where I would do most of my colouring in clue number 6. Okay, so this is time for more stamping. So I know I've said stamp 3 images, but if you only want to do 1, hang on, just commenting issues. Oh dear, some people are having some commenting issues, so I'm sorry about that. It might be your connection, or so this is where you take your scrap piece of vanilla or white, and you can stamp some images and fussy cut or die cut them as you wish. Or you might have a punch that you're going to use. So I'm really excited to see how these will all come together actually. I think it's going to be, it's a bit of a fun card. And it's funny, I hadn't used my tag punch before, so my tags are somewhat different than what I thought they were going to be. So this is clue number 6. Sorry, it's not straight. And then you get, once you've stamped them and cut them out or whatever you're doing with them, you can then attach them to your little tags. Yeah, this is a bit that where I would have do my 2-step stamping and make sure that I've got everything exactly the way that I want it. And I'm not die cutting mine, so I'm going to fussy cut mine today. I do have my die cutting machine upstairs, but sometimes if you've only got 1 or 2 things to do, it is easier to fussy cut. So when you've done clue number 6, you type 6 and done. I was thinking, oh, it's so hot up here and I don't have the fan on or the door closed for the air conditioning to stay in. And I've got a helper up here today. Delphi's lying up next to me. So when you've done number 6, just type 6 and done. So what other things have we got coming up? We've got Stampin' Up! Released some really great online exclusives at the beginning of the month. So I was thinking on our next Tuesday night lights, which is this Tuesday, I might make something with the papers that they've just released because it's just so pretty. And or I might use the retreat papers as well. So how's everybody going with clue number 6? Okay. I should have die cut mine because fussy cutting is wonky today. Now this is the longest part, the stamping, I think. Putting it together is quick and easy, but it's a great card if you have got scraps of cardstock and like you might just have a quarter of a, like just a small piece of DSP paper that you, and just enough for a card front or something like that, and you're sort of lost with how you are going to put it together, or how you're going to use it. This is a good card to use those little bits up, because I don't know about you, but if I make a whole batch of cards, I sometimes get a bit bored, and I don't want to keep making more of the same. So Kim, if you're still having trouble commenting, just send me a message via Messenger when you are done your steps, and I can see. Then it'll pop up on my watch that you've done that step. Okay. Let's see the comments. Okay. Hope it's nice weather down there in Adelaide, Lynn, or in South Australia. I know you had a heat wave a couple of weeks ago, and then last Tuesday it was really cold. I always find Adelaide or South Australian weather to be a bit funny. I remember ringing my sister when she lived in Adelaide, and it was Christmas Day and they had the fireplace on, which it was the middle of summer and we were sweltering, and we had a really rare Christmas Day thunderstorm because it was just so hot. So we're all doing okay. And sometimes if you're having trouble with the comments, you have to log out and log back in again, and that takes a little bit of time. I'm very intrigued. What paper is everybody using today? I'm really intrigued to find out what paper, or if you were doing this, if you're just watching along, what paper you might use. Or what stamp set you're using. I want to know. I'd love to have. I don't like completely. Oh, Kim's just sent me a message. She's fussy cutting away. Okay. The fussy cutting takes a little bit of time, I think. But we'll give you another couple of minutes and then we'll move on to the next step. Are you doing okay there, Lynn? Yeah. I was thinking that next month we might actually do, oh Lynn, you're using Playing in the Rain. I've used that a lot over the last couple of weeks. I'm going to use it this afternoon because I'm making a christening card for my nephew. It's his christening tomorrow, and we're so excited. Well, because I haven't seen him for a little while. Yes, it does take time. Okay, and just remember that because we're not on Zoom, you can come back and do steps later on if you need to. Okay, so we'll just give you another minute or so. Yeah, so I love playing in the rain. That's such a nice card, or nice set, and nice sweet. And yeah, I'm really I'm glad to be using that set for my nephew. I think he will really like it. Okay. So are we ready to move on to the next step? Sorry, I'm hurrying you. You don't need too many images. You just, because it's supposed to be a quick card. That's what that's the intent. Sometimes the intent doesn't work out exactly how we plan, but that's all right too. Kim's ready. Are you nearly ready, Lynn? And we'll move on to the next one. Remember, we can come back and finish it off if we're... Oops, I was talking about what you need to do and I actually hadn't done the last part of that step, which is affix these images to your tags with dimensionals. Well, that's a bit embarrassing. I'll quickly do that and then hopefully we'll be right to move on. That's funny. Oh dear, I mustn't have had enough coffee. Speaking of coffee, my favourite coffee mug that I got from my dear friend Alison, and I actually got a magnet that matches it from my other bestie Denise. It split, and so I'm using a different cup, but it feels strange not to have my beautiful china cup. All right, so we're ready to move on to the next step. Fabulous. So now, clue number 7. You need to stamp your sentiment. And you need to make sure that you bring a sentiment up to your workspace when you're using it. But I thought I hadn't, but I tricked myself. All right. So that's the sentiment set that I'm using today. Is a something fancy set. I had intended to use something else, but I didn't bring it upstairs. So we're using something fancy because it's up here. And I'm hoping it's going to fit in my... So you can, so with mystery stamping, if you need to, you can always adjust the sizes. So if you've got scraps laying around or whatever that you need to use, and the sentiment that you want to use doesn't fit in the size, as long as it doesn't go, as long as you don't make too big a size adjustment. So like 1/4 of an inch is usually about fine. That's not right. But if you want to, if you like adjusted your size of your sentiment strips or whatever, or your tags or whatever by 2 inches, obviously that's not going to work. So, but if you need to adjust it by just a little bit, then that works. That'll work fine. You just need to look at what the size of the other things are on your page. Okay. Right, when you've done clue number 7, type 7 and done. I'll be really excited to see what everybody has created with this layout, because I can tell you I've made it, this is the 4th time I've made it, and all 4 cards are completely different. Alright, so Lynn's done number 7. Kim, if you're messaging me, I'm going to assume that you're done number 7 as well. All right, now we're going to attach, it's layering time, so we're going to attach those 3 tags to the front of the card with dimensionals, spacing them evenly apart. Now, this gives you lots of scope to move, like you can attach them so many different ways. So I'm not going to tell you what you need to do. This is the fun bit, and this is why everybody's card ends up looking different. Now, the original layout that I had for this was inspired by my friend Sherry, who lives in Florida, and we try and catch up on in a Zoom group with some other stamping friends, or stamping family they're called, on a, oh well, when we can they schedule a few calls a month, but this was in the use of the tags on this card was inspired by her, and I actually now can't remember what her original card looked like, because it was so long ago that I saw it, but I just think it was lots of fun, and I thought that was a really great idea. So thank you, Sherry in Florida, for your inspiration. Now, I actually have shared this card on my Facebook page very, very recently, and when I was sharing it, I thought that would make a great mystery stamping card. So when you finish this clue, it's number 8, I want you to type 8 and done. Okay. sometimes it's funny doing these Facebook Lives because you can't see people, you can't see where they're up to or what they're doing, so it becomes a bit of a challenge. And I'm going to show you my 4 versions of this card. So when you've done clue number 8, type 8 and done. And then there is only one more step, I think. Oh no, 2 more steps. Oops, I'll move that around. All right, Kim's done number 8. Lynn, are we up to number 8 with you too? Fabulous. Whoops. Where's it going? It froze. Okay. So, don't spend too much time on this. Just have a quick look at it and go, oh, they look okay there, and pop them on. You've done 7 as much as you can. Number 8, you've done. All right. Okay. And we've done our, so we've got our 3 tags on the front of our card. So can anyone guess what the next bit is? Got 2 steps to go. What is the next step? If you said, well, let's have a look. If you said that it was bling, you'd be wrong. If you said it was adding the sentiment, that would be right. So you pop your sentiment on. And don't be afraid to put it over top of your tags and over top of multiple tags. With lots of, have fun with it. Don't be afraid to put it on an angle, because it doesn't have to be flat. 9 is done for Kim. Lynn, I hope you've got up to number 9. All right, I'll give you another minute. Oh, the sun's trying to peek out. Our neighbours, I can see out there my window, because I don't normally look out the upstairs window and over into our neighbour's yard, and they've got the most beautiful outdoor area. They've got some beautiful cane swings and they've got a hammock. That's so cool. Anyway, it's funny, and you don't look out. Well, normally when I'm filming it's at night too, so I don't look out. So number 9. We're going to go on to number 10, and this is where you bling it up. So you add this is the last step. So you embellish your card as much as you want. Use your ribbon, your twine, your rhinestones, splatter it with wink of Stella. Do whatever you need to do to make it look how you want it. Okay. I'm adding some ribbon to mine because I don't normally do ribbon on mine. Well, I haven't done ribbon on the ones that I've done before, so I'm doing some ribbon on this one. or not ribbon, twine. But this is where you get to have a little bit of fun. And if you were making this at home and you weren't waiting for other people, and this card could take you, you could reasonably expect it could take you about 20 minutes to 30 minutes. So you could get a couple of them. It depends how much effort you're putting into it, doesn't it? So when you have finished number 10, type 10 and done. Okay. Now sometimes it's probably a good idea when you're doing mystery stamping to choose things that are more solid images that you don't have to colour, if you need to keep up with, or if you wanted to keep up with the group. If you're not worried about that and you're happy to go back later, then by all means choose things that you have to colour. Okay. So there's always some time between each step to go back and do more colouring and just have fun with it. Okay. All right. How are we going? Kim, have you bling drawers up? I get told all the time that I either stamp too slow or too fast, and I'm trying to find a balance between that. So, and when you're doing it on a live, it is different to doing it in person or on a Zoom, because you don't have that feedback, visual feedback, other than the comments. And sometimes when you're putting a card together, you'll do something and then you'll go, oh, I need to change that up. Or, and don't be afraid to do that. Like, you can, sometimes it's really, it's better to gently prize something off than have it in a spot that you're not happy with. Okay. All right, I think that I should show you my finished card that I made this morning, and then I'll show you the original one that I started with. Because that's the end of our mystery. Are we ready to see the finished card? Or my finished card? I think we are. So this is my finished card from today. Okay. So now don't worry if your card looks nothing like mine. All right, Kim's ready. Yes, that is, so this is my finished card, and it's got my 3 tags. Oh, you're still with us, Jan. I didn't see that you were still with us. For some reason, it doesn't show you up there. All right, thank you, Kim. Then this was a card that I've already shared that I had planned to make today. So Jan, you'll be able to make this with your retreat stamp set. And so this was the card that I planned to make. The same stamp set, different papers, different colours, completely different looking cards. So that's what I, and then, as I said, I've made this 4 times in the last 2 days. So this was another version. Oh, you love it. Thank you, Kim. This was another version of that same layout. So it looks completely different as well. So I used die cuts for the tags. Right. See you later, Jan. Thanks for joining. You're finished. Okay. And this is yet another version. So this is using the Easter Bunny, and it's got really subtle, trying to hold it the right way so you can see. It's really, really subtle. Oh, because it's all zoomed in, isn't it? So let's zoom it out a little bit and see if we can get the cards in there. Oh, 2 minutes. Leave that up. So there, the 3 cards. So really different cards, aren't they? And then this is our one from today, where I've flipped it round so it can work. And I've flipped one of the tags around so it can work in a number of different ways. Oh, thank you, Kim. That's a really nice comment. But I always know how to inspire you. Kim is messaging me because she's having problems commenting. That's really, really lovely. A lovely thing to say. So really great for using up those cardstock scraps. I'm going to have to make a Playing in the Rain one. And I want to, so I can see whether my Playing in the Rain version is anything like Lynn's. So that might be what I used for the base of my christening card today. But yeah, so they're very, very different layouts. Well, the same layout, but different orientations and different, but I do like the pink and black. And I probably think this is my other favorite. And this was the one that I made when I was on a Zoom with my friend Sherry, who inspired the card. So there we go. That's our mystery stamping and for today. If you want to share with me your, after we finish the Facebook Live, your finished projects, I'd love to see them. And I'll go off and I'll make a Playing in the Rain one as well, so I can see if mine is anything like Lynn's. So I hope you have a fabulous rest of the weekend and happy Saturday. And well, thank you, Lynn. I'd love to see what you bake. And until next time, happy creating. Bye for now.